A conservative majority on the Supreme Court siding with the president today on federal judges lacking the authority to grant nationwide injunctions, such as one on the birthright citizenship. But the court left the issue of citizenship for children born in the U.S. to non-citizens' parents still up in the air.
Well, this was a big one, wasn't it?
President Trump welcomed Friday's Supreme Court ruling that limits federal judges from issuing nationwide injunctions blocking his orders.
Thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore.
In the 6-3 decision, Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the majority opinion, saying, quote, universal injunctions likely exceeded the equitable authority that Congress has given to federal courts.
I think it makes some sense given where she is on the court, and I think she was able, obviously, to command more than a simple majority, but a 6-3 majority.
Writing the dissenting opinion, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, quote, no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. President Trump says the ruling will allow his administration to move forward with his birthright citizenship order and other policies. And federal judges have issued more than 40 nationwide injunctions that temporarily pause the president's orders. Officials in California, one of 22 states that filed suit against the president's executive order on birthright citizenship, predict an eventual legal victory.
Nothing about today's decision suggests that we will not ultimately prevail on the merits. The court's decision today says nothing either way about the merits of birthright citizenship.
The Supreme Court ruling did not address the constitutionality of the birthright citizenship order. The Attorney General says that could end up back before the High Court later this year. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
We are hearing from Arkansas's U.S. lawmakers about the decision today. Senator Tom Cotton shared this statement on social media not long after that ruling. Says letting one liberal district court judge dictate policy for the nation was undemocratic and unconstitutional. I'm grateful the Supreme Court acted to limit nationwide injunctions from resistance judges. This is an important victory for every American. The ACLU commenting on today's ruling, its impact on the ongoing legal battle surrounding birthright citizenship. They sent a response saying this fight is not over. The statement says in part, the court's decision to potentially open the door to enforcement is disappointing, but we will do everything in our power to ensure no child is ever subjected to the executive order. Group goes on to say, we will vindicate the 14th Amendment's fundamental promise that ensures every child born on U.S. soil is recognized as a citizen of this country. Supreme Court also backing a law aimed at protecting minors from online porn. Nearly half of U.S. states, including Arkansas, have or will soon have age restrictions. Now, the law requires users to verify age before accessing adult content. Critics say that puts personal data at risk, but the court decision says adults have no right to skip age checks. We're hearing from Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders on this ruling. She posted on social media X saying today is normal versus crazy. Another win for parents and families. Kids should not be watching morally abhorrent, explicit material, and states have a right and duty to stop it. This helps states like Arkansas enforce laws that protect our kids from online predators. The suspect in the murder of a Minnesota state lawmaker and her husband appearing in federal court today while the couple he killed lie in state at the Minnesota Capitol Rotunda. Vance Belter faces at least 6 charges in connection with the shooting deaths of former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman, her husband, and their dog. Today, a judge postponed his preliminary hearing until next week after the suspect told the court he has not slept in nearly 2 weeks. Court appearance coincides with the Hortmans and their dog Gilbert lying in state at the Minnesota Capitol Rotunda, so mourners can pay their respects ahead of a private funeral set for tomorrow.
It's an honor to be here. Melissa was just such a giving, selfless servant for everybody. And I'm especially touched by the loss of Gilbert. To me, that underscores how senseless this was.
Police say the 57-year-old suspect was disguised as a police officer when he carried out his attack on June 14th. Belter is accused of shooting another lawmaker and his wife 17 times. They survived and are recovering right now. Prosecutors allege Belter had a hit list of at least 45 elected officials, all Democrats. His wife released a statement saying she is shocked at the violence, which she called a betrayal of their family values, and is praying for the Hortmans. Belter could face the death penalty if he is convicted. Arkansas has more than 400 unsolved missing person cases with victims ranging anywhere from 1-year-old to 91 years old. The Arkansas Crime Information Center, better known as ACIC, is improving its missing persons website in hopes of solving these cases a lot faster. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach tells us what the center is now doing online.
ACIC is announcing an upgrade to their Never Forgotten Missing Persons website, a public database that gives updates for missing person cases in Arkansas. The site used to be updated once a week, but now updates will be in real time. When a missing person is reported to the National Crime Information Center by local law enforcement, it is entered into Never Forgotten immediately. ACIC Deputy Director Rick Stallings says this will be helpful in time-sensitive situations.
Time is of the essence in a missing person case. You got to get the information out.
When the page was updated once a week, people could still be listed as missing after they had already been found. Now, the system automatically updates with live information and removes individuals once located. Stallings reminds Arkansans that there is no 24-hour waiting period to report a missing person. If you believe a loved one is missing, report it immediately to law enforcement. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
All right, Claire, thanks. And behind the scenes of Little Rock's emergency response, there is a team working to save lives before it's too late. Little Rock Police Department's Victim Services Program has been helping survivors of violent crime since 1998. But domestic violence cases make up the majority of that work. And the numbers are sobering. Over the last 3 years, about 1 in every 5 homicides are domestic related. Victim Services Coordinator Candy House puts their mission in stark terms.
We view it oftentimes as homicide prevention. If we can help those victims before it gets to the point where there's a loss of life, we want to do that.
From January to March alone this year, they assisted more than 2,000 domestic violent crimes. These programs are growing across the state. Conway and Russellville, by the way, have also similar programs for domestic violence prevention. June is Men's Health Awareness Month, and heart issues remain a leading concern. Doctors say men are more likely to ignore early warning signs. They say men often wait too long to manage serious conditions like high blood pressure and high cholesterol, 2 key risk factors for heart attacks. Studies show men are also more likely to smoke and exercise less than women. That combination puts them at higher risk and at younger ages.
They tend to take less care of their high blood pressure, and they tend to have uncontrolled hypertension compared to their women counterpart, and that exposes them to the risk factors.
Experts recommend men schedule a checkup and aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise 5 days a week. Well, heads up for drivers, road rage spiking on Arkansas highways. State police have already logged more than 440 cases this year. Troopers say the best defense is as simple as letting the other driver go. Dash cams capture it daily. A quick lane change, maybe a hard brake check, and suddenly tempers boil. Troopers warn that petty payback can turn criminal very quickly. Anything from careless driving tickets to felony assault. Police say if someone targets you, change lanes, take the next exit, and then call 911 that is. Dispatchers can steer you to a safe location while troopers can track the aggressor.